Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how to set up some basic WordPress settings and things just to make your site look a little bit more professional and not just like a default WordPress install. So I'm going to be using my ultimate WordPress setup checklist, which you can get in the description below. It's just a quick little checklist that you can go through every time you create a new WordPress site, and just to make sure you don't miss any of these little settings and things here and there. So let's get into it. So here's the checklist. We're going to start with the basics over here. So there's a dark mode of this document, which is made for viewing on like your laptop or a tablet or something. And then I have a print mode version as well with a white background that you can actually print out and check off if you're one of those people that likes to check things off by hand, which I am definitely one of those, so I relate. So let's get into it. So this is a brand new WordPress install that I just did. So I just logged in. First thing I'm going to do is delete all of the sample content. So every time you start a new WordPress site, it gives you a lot of these little like demo posts and pages and comments. I guess that one's already gone. But I just like to clear those out because they're cluttery and you don't need them for anything. Next, I'm going to go to appearance and themes. And so another annoying thing that WordPress does is it comes with multiple themes installed, which is just kind of overkill. And it's just taking up too much space on my hosting platform. And these are all themes that I'm never going to use anyways, so I'm just going to get rid of all of them except for the main one that we have installed currently. You can always go back and add more themes if you want to later, but for now there's no reason having all this stored in there. Next thing is we're going to go to posts and then categories. So I like to go ahead and put in whatever categories I think I'm going to use for my blog posts ahead of time. So that way, when I am actually going in to write the post and publish them, I don't have to think about it. I already have them in there ready to go. And it also helps because once we get a few categories in here, we can delete this ugly, uncategorized thing that I see on most WordPress sites. So I'm just going to put a couple example categories in here just for the sake of it. Oops. Let's say branding. All right. So now that we have some stuff in there other than uncategorized, it will let us get rid of that. So let's go over to settings, writing, and then change it from uncategorized to whatever you want to put there. So now when we go back to post categories, it will let us delete that ugly uncategorized. Yay. Okay. Got that ready to go. So next we're going to go to settings and general. So here we're going to update the site title and tagline. So these are the things that are going to show up in your browser tab when somebody has your site open. First one will be the title, and then the tagline will be after it. It also shows up if somebody shares a link from your website to social media, it's going to be like the title, little headline. Or if someone's searching on Google, for example, I'll just show you mine. So my website, this is my site title, and then this is my tagline. So just so you can see what that looks like. So for the sake of this demo, I'm going to change this out to a couple other settings on here. Just update the time zone so that my posts and everything are published in the right time zone. That looks good. I usually leave everything else alone on this page. Next thing is your reading settings. So I just make sure that search engine visibility is unchecked unless you're working on a website that needs to be like really private. Then you will want to check that to make sure that nobody stumbles across it before you're done and actually publish it live. But I usually leave it unchecked because I don't want to accidentally forget to uncheck it when I launch the site, and then for however much months or years go by and I'm like, why is my site not ranking on Google? Oh, because I had that checked the whole time. So that's just one thing I like to be mindful of. Next, I'll go to discussion settings. So if we uncheck allow people to submit comments on new posts, that means that any new post or pages here on out they can't comment on, which helps contribute to cutting down on a lot of the spam comments, which is nice. You can tweak any of these other settings as you want. I usually just leave them alone. Save that. Let's see what we got next. So next we're going to go to permalinks. You can change to whatever you want. Here I typically go with post name just because I think it's a lot cleaner of a URL rather than having the year and the month and all that stuff in there. If you want to get real fancy with it, you can customize it to whatever you want to put in there. You can also change, instead of post category or post tag, you can come up with a custom name there, like topics or subtopics or whatever you want to call it, and then that will update your URL accordingly. So I'm going to change post name, save that. So next I'm going to go to edit my profile up here in the top right. So if you're new to WordPress, this will probably be blank for you, but you can come down here and change your profile picture on Gravatar. So if you're not familiar with Gravatar, once you update this image, it's going to update on any WordPress site that you're a user on. So that's kind of cool because you don't have to update your profile on every site. It just does it automatically. And it also works with a lot of other software now. I believe Slack is one of the ones that use Gravatar, and a lot of other tech companies use it. So if you ever see a profile picture on some site that you're logged into and you're like, where did this come from? It's probably from Gravatar. So you can go to their site and change it there. What else? This is also going to show up on if you have your author box set to display on your blog post. So it's going to say, I wrote this post, and it's going to have a little picture of me there. That's also where this is going to come into play, as well as your display name. So once you input some stuff in here, it'll give you some more settings. So you can also change your nickname if you want. So you reach. Then your display name publicly as, which is going to show as your author name on your blog posts. You can have it be your username or your first name, last name, both backwards, or your nickname, whatever you want to put there. I'm just going to use that and save that. All right, next we're going to go to appearance and customize, then site identity. So this is where you update your logo and your site icon or favicon, which is the thing that's going to show up next to your domain name in a browser tab. And it also shows up on mobile and a couple other places where, if you're searching on Google on your phone, it gives you a couple little icons of like past sites that you've visited. So that's another example of where this is going to show up. So I'm going to upload mine here. I'm just going to pause it for a second so you don't see me digging through all of my files. All right, so I've got those in there. I'm gonna save that. This also gives you a nice little preview of what it's actually gonna look like, which is pretty cool. Alrighty, now I'm gonna go back out to appearance and widgets. So these are the default widgets that WordPress comes with. I'll show you guys where they're at. So it's gonna have them in the footer automatically. So just search a little feed of your recent posts, recent comments, archives, and then post categories. So this is just what WordPress automatically puts in there, and I just think it looks kind of clunky and unprofessional and like every other WordPress website. So I just go delete these out, and then later, once I get my site designed and set up how I want it, I'll go back and add my own widgets in here and make it look a little bit nicer. But for now, I'm just clearing these out because I'm never going to use them. And I'm going to update. Alrighty. Next thing is appearance menus. So I already have like a little demo menu set up here. You can create a new one up here if you want to. I'm gonna delete all this stuff out of here because it's not anything that I'm gonna use anyways. And then I'm gonna check automatically add new top level pages to this menu. So every time I create a new page as I'm building out my site, it'll automatically pull them into this menu here. And then I can come back later and rearrange them or do whatever I need to do there. Want to make sure that display location is checked, set to primary if it's not already. And then I'm going to show you guys a couple cool settings. So if you go up here in the top right to screen options, you can change what menu settings you actually have down here. So these screen elements that are checked are what's showing down here in the bottom left under add menu items. So as you add things, you'll see them pop up down there. So if you want to link directly to a feed of your post tags or post categories, that's how you do that here. You can see the ones that we input. So if you added that to your menu, it's going to link it directly to a feed of posts from that category. You can also do custom links, which would be like an external link. If you had, I don't know, an Etsy store or something that you wanted to link to there, you put the URL here and then whatever you want to call it. Let's just do it as an example. I'm just going to put this as a placeholder. Add that. So then the other cool thing you can do is you can change all of the link settings here. I don't really use any of these other than link target, which makes it to where you can open your link in a new tab, which if you don't have that checked, you can see how it disappears there. So that's definitely helpful when you're linking out to somewhere else that's not on your website, like an Etsy store or something like that, to have it open in a new tab so that your website still stays open. So yeah, that's that. I'm just gonna save all those settings. And that is it for the checklist. Again, I will put the link to download the checklist in the description, and let me know if you guys have any questions. Feel free to put them in the comments, and I hope this was helpful for you.